Thank you very much, and good morning, everyone. I would like to start now by congratulating the European Commission for organizing such an important event in such an important topic. So thank you very much for inviting to give us the opportunity here to be representing Telefónica. In the next 8 or 10 minutes, I'd like to share with you what's our vision at Telefónica, what we call the digital revolution. Let's just start here with a very short vision of how do you see what's happening on the macro level. Two main messages here. The first one, I think, is a very good news. We can see clear signs of improvement in the global economy. I think that we can say that the crisis in Europe, I hope that it's finished, and I think that the years come is much better than the years have just gone. Second message, there is here a clear, especially from emerging countries, especially from the Asia Pacific, they are clear catching up with the most developed countries. The world post-crisis will be completely different from the world pre-crisis. What we have seen here is that it's a clear rebalance between the wealth of nations and also in a clear change in the trade, where the South and the Asia countries, they are growing here great space. I think that part of this growth, especially for the Asia companies, they could be correlated for the investments that they are doing in R&D. We do not see those companies now as exports of low value-added products. They are investing a lot, and what happens here, especially for China and South Korea, they are achieving percentages of spend in R&D that are, I would say, it's comparable even higher than Europe. And what you can see here, where you compare the numbers, the figures from Europe with the figures from the United States and the figures from Asia in R&D, what I can say here is there's a risk that we can lag behind. It can be like a sandwich between Asia and North America. Let's take here, I would say, it's interesting to take a long-term perspective. And when you take a long-term perspective on our history, what you can see is there is a clear correlation between not only economic growth, but I think more important, that's social welfare and technological developments. We can see that maybe definitely the last 200 years has been the most exceptional one in our history in terms of growth, in terms of progress in social welfare. And this could be correlated to what we call the Industrial Revolution that has started in the UK. And then in the beginning of the last century, the United States take the leadership on innovation. Has been a tremendous period of growth, maybe the best one in our history. I would say that now in the 21st century, we are witnessing something that I would say the impact could be even higher than the one that have seen in the Industrial Revolution. And again, driven like have been the Industrial Revolution, driven by technology. Now in this case, what we call the ICT, the digital revolution, everything related to the cloud, to the software, to the semiconductors, to the information society. One can say that we could be at the end of this revolution, and most of the things that could happen have already happened. For me, this is not the case. I think that one of my key messages here could be that we are just at the first beginning. And just let me try to illustrate here with a couple of examples. You know that one of the most important drivers for this revolution is the mobile internet. The internet that's going to connect everyone in every place in the world will not be the old fixed one, it will be the mobile one. And there is an interesting parameter here, that is the traffic on the mobile networks. The traffic today, it's almost 2 or 3 times higher than it used to be 2 years ago. And what you can expect in the more conservative forecasts at the traffic in the mobile networks in 5 years from now, it's minimum 10 times bigger than it's today. Minimum 10 times bigger. So the traffic is growing exponentially. Another parameters, maybe most of you here will have a smartphone. Know that by coincidence I was just explaining the smartphone that each of us have here are more powerful than the computer that NASA used to send man to the moon. And only 1 out of 3 or 4 people in the world have a smartphone. There is a huge potential to grow. But for me, more and more important, it we call the Internet of Things. I think in the last couple of years, we have been in the job of connecting people. And now we will be in the job of connecting things. Everything that can be connected, including our car, our TV, our home, our clothes, our medicines, will be connected. And only less than 0.5% of the things that can be connected is connected today. When you think about what could be the impact of this Internet of Things, less than 1% of what could be done had already been done. I think this is a clear proof that we are just at the beginning. And that's good because Anne has mentioned here that when you think about the way we consume books or we consume music, has dramatically changed in the next 10 years. But when you think the way that we grow our children, that you educate them, that you take care of our health, that the governments take care of the administration, although there is a bigger change, it cannot be compared to the changes that happen we call infoentertainment. It means that everything that is more close to our real life, that means education, health, administration, traffic, energy management, there is a lot of these things. Most of the things that can be done had not been done yet. We are just at the first beginning. And it's good because when you see it now, I see, unfortunately, the European companies, or I would say the European society, is not playing very well in the game up to now. When you see here on the list of the 10 highest internet companies, there is no company from Europe. Most of America has some from China, from Japan, but no one from Europe. If you take the PC industry or the semiconductors, or I would say there's more or less the same. I think that up to now, for different reasons, Europe has been lagging behind, and I think that if you think of the impact of the digital revolution, again, compared to what we have seen in the industry revolution, we cannot lag behind. Lag behind is revolution, it means losing the train of history. We cannot allow this. I think that some good things, I think that in some areas in the telecom sectors that I'm representing, or the telecom manufacturers with companies like Ericsson or Nokia, or I think that at least in this space, up to now, we have a good presence that we can leverage on. When you see now something that has happened, what you see is that we are competing with companies that are coming from different areas, different business models. And what we are defending here is that independent on where we are coming from, we should try to follow the same rules. And for me, I think that the fundamental of the new rules for this digital world have to be privacy, security, and transparency, independent of where you're coming from. And here I think that to learn here some concepts. We are very used to the idea that if you change our mobile operators, we remain with the same number. We have the right to portable our number. I would say what happened when you change from an iOS to an Android. Everything that you used to have in this operating system, our life, our music, our image, everything that's there now cannot be portable. This is just an example, an example of how in this new world that many companies are converging for different sectors, you have to be thinking different in order to progress. Coming back from the point that I have started, I think that what you have to say is that innovation is changing, is moving the world. Up to now, we can say that it has been moving towards the Pacific, through the Asia or even America. But for me, again, my main message here is that this is just the beginning. This is just the beginning. And I'm very optimistic about what Europe is doing now. When you see here, there are some evidences that when you see the number of startup incubators in Europe is growing very fast, and now there are more startup incubators in Europe than the United States. I think this is a sign that something, I don't know, in a couple of years can be completely different than it's now. Or when you take here a number of examples of companies that are doing very, very well in Europe, we see an example of some Spanish companies, some companies from France, UK, or Scandinavia. We have now concrete cases of digital companies in Europe that are playing very, very, very well. And why I think if you need anything more to be conscious why innovation is important, Europe definitely needs to create employment. And there is a clear correlation between innovation and unemployment. as innovative as a country, as is illustrated here in the chart, is lower is the employment. And the good news is that when you see now the companies how I represent, I come from Spain, I think that the numbers I think is this chart maybe is representing the last years, but not the future years. When you see, I think that Europe is progressing fast in this direction, and absolutely important, because it's much easier to create employees in the tech world than in the past world, in the old world. And again, why I'm so optimistic about Europe? Again, we have the numbers here in the chart from numbers of incubators. But when you take different parameters for innovation, there is here someone that I think is quite reliable, that's from Bloomberg. If you include Switzerland, that of course is also a European country, although out of the euro, 5 out of the 10 most innovative countries by the Bloomberg are European companies. Then why are you failing in translating this innovation capability in our ability to create companies and to lead in the digital space? Now we can see that there are many initiatives here at different European level that I think that's trying to change this. This gap cannot be closed only by governments or only by companies or only by non-governmental organizations. I think this is, we have to understand that in order to change this ecosystem, this is a role for all of us. And we have here some examples now in Europe that initiatives that we're doing this, that could be Startup Europe, or the Global Apprenticeship Networks, or the Code.org.com, or the Tiger Leap Foundation. So many examples. I assume most of you here may be familiar or must be representing some of those initiatives. This can be done. This definitely can be done. And this is, I think that we have to take in care that, yes, we can do, but this is a role for all. And there is the price for doing this is high, and the risk for not doing is also very high. And I think, from our side at Telefónica, we recognize this. We are trying to do our part. I think that some of you must be familiar with some of the initiatives that we have launched in the past. Wire, that in only 2 or 3 years has become one of the most important startup incubators in the world. We are now incubating more than 300 projects in 22 academies around the world. Or America, that's a network of VC funds, or Crowdwork, or Campus Party. And what we're doing now, we are trying to put everything that is started as isolated initiatives and something together that create a unique platform that you call Open Future. That our idea is to link, from one side, a business demand, a bank or a government or any company that has a business demand in order to change one of their needs, to talent. And we are very confident now that we can do this. And again, this is a small contribution from our side, but I think this is part of our belief that there is a huge opportunity here, and Europe can do well. I think that my final message, I think that if I ask me if you have here one message. I love football. So I was born in Brazil. I have been created in Spain. We can imagine there's a combination of Brazil and Spain. We love football, especially where we are now, less than 100 days ahead of a World Cup. We are playing a very important role. Very important play. We are playing a very important match. And are losing. We are losing 2-0. We have to recognize that we are losing. But what's good is that we are only in the minute 10 of the first half. And we have the best players. Depend on us to change this match. Yes, and definitely we can change. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Eduardo. I have to say I've been following the Telefónica initiatives for quite some time now, and what I really, really appreciate about them is not only do you help young companies, but you also recognize the importance of young companies in changing Telefónica itself. And I think this is important to understand, is that in today's world, there's really a very healthy sort of relationship an important relationship between the big companies and the small companies. And you need them as well. It's not a one-way street. So I have a lot of respect for what you do and really appreciated your remarks here this morning. Now, I will turn my attention to Mark Surman, Executive Director of the Mozilla Foundation, known best, of course, for its widely used internet browser, Firefox. Mark, you're a community activist and technology executive with a huge, huge passion for digital literacy, or making things do stuff, as I think you would like to say. And your efforts resulted in many, many transformative initiatives, including the WebMaker project, which teaches web literacy really at a global scale. And last year, you kicked off the project's global educational campaign together with US President Barack Obama, and it resulted to date in more than 1,600 educational events in 330 cities around the world. I think that's an extremely impressive track record, and I couldn't think of a person better suited to introduce the topic of digital literacy than you this morning. The floor is yours, Mark. Thanks for being with us.